bottom duo to lock up here post first pick. You know, you get a strong first pick, then you lock up your bot duo. I think they'll ban the Lucian a third time.
I think it's definitely a Kalista Renata angle. That's all I'm seeing in my mind's eye for Gen.G. They've been so good at defaulting to this and then just slamming the game down. We'll see whether that is where they're going to head.
If they do want to do that, they don't necessarily have to ban the Lucian. I think they will anyways.
I would assume so. I think it could still be a difficult lane to play out.
Poppy gone, Nocturne gone. The Akali.
Interesting.
Counterpick to a few different champions in this meta, but some of them are removed already. Azir, be a big question mark if we did see that one come through.
Ooh. Extra damage on the Q. Haha. It's not really much of a buff.
Yeah, it's not doing that well.
So we haven't really seen him back yet, just yet. But it might be that the Emperor does come back a little bit later.
So the Jarvan still hasn't been played yet, which is rare to make it to 3 games like this. That could also be a consideration here for Dplus on the ban list.
Renekton. We are playing Ambessa, I guess.
Probably. This will be the Lucian ban if they are going to go for it. Alternatively, something completely different. The Jarvan I mentioned.
All right. So Jarvan does come down. It's hard to pick Ashe, right? There's no Seraphine and no Lulu available. So that is not really much of an option.
Sivir first pick for Gen.G?
Whoa, that'd be crazy.
I don't think so.
I think Dplus would be happily able to just pick a Kalista Renata, though, if that was the case. A first pick Kalista might actually be enough. We have seen Ashe Renata as far as a Renata denial is concerned, but that was a while ago.
We have so much focus on the bottom lane just to give everyone the update because Gen.G have first picks, they get a prio pick and then lock up their duo right afterwards as a snap. That's one of the many reasons why you would want to go for first pick. So we'll see what they do opt for. Lucian is available, but they're going to look for the Syndra, so we understand the Akali ban now.
All right.
Even though it's really good into Akali in the early levels. The Jayce.
All right, they banned the Cassante so that they could pick up the Jayce. Now that Olaf is gone, there are quite a few things that you'd want to play into the Jayce that have now been removed.
Also, Yorick with a Syndra comp doesn't feel that great. It's not impossible to play, but it can get kind of awkward. As that Lucian, even though it's split here, feels safe because the Milio denial is pretty tough. So for the first time, it's left up, and for the first time, Smash will have the opportunity to lock that away. It's been respected by Gen.G in games 1 and 2. And we predicted this right from the beginning.
You knew what was going to happen.
You and I both were like, well, I see where this is going. I've cast these two teams against each other enough times to know it's going to be that matchup, and we are going to get it here.
And Lucian Milio, I think, will still be a lot of power into this lane. But we know that Ruler and Duro are just so good at playing out the Kalista Renata. I'd be a little bit frightened.
They're considering something else here instead of the Milio, or maybe they're just thinking about what they want to ban and want to use some extra time here. But I think the Milio 100% best option here.
Yeah, they are going to lock that one away. But now Chovy on the Syndra, very scary prospect.
So Yorick
can protect it even further as well.
Yorick is going to go. We're not going to see that.
Yes, I'm going to write that down.
I think that's probably the only ban you have to do on the top side. We're not going to see Sion in this draft, I don't think. So
it could be Yorick Vayne if you wanted to do that, but I don't know whether Jayce is too bothered by a Vayne. Still, we have seen, especially Kiin has really improved the Vayne play over this year. So it might be worthy of some respect.
Curious now, do they ban Talia away from ShowMaker? It's not a strong matchup, but does work well with the comp and how it wants to play around this Lucian and the Essence Reaver Spike. Annie, also great choice in terms of just big burst.
Yep.
Playing through the Lucian.
I think that was their other option, was to go Annie Wukong or something like that immediately after seeing the Syndra. But now that they decided not to do that, they're not going to have that option. ShowMaker, though, obviously has a gigantic champion pool, so isn't going to be too worried. His Twisted Fate, though, has been denied because Kiin played it towards the top side.
The jungle pool is also super thin in this game, and neither player has picked their jungle just yet. So it's going to get interesting. That Sion is banned, in fact. I was talking about as one of the best answers left available. No Renekton here either, which they banned earlier. It ends up being probably Ambessa here for Kiin, I guess, in this draft now.
Yeah. And I actually feel like Ambessa kind of fits what they want to be doing here as well. Hostile takeover plus the public execution can be pretty deadly. But one more ban, probably aimed at ShowMaker here. And no, it will be the Qiyana taken away instead. Probably better for both junglers
Maybe
that Qiyana's banned.
Maybe you could go for Nefiri now with this draft. I think it works pretty well. The scary thing is bailout. Into all that burst damage, you super all in on trying to kill someone with the Nefiri, and then they just get bailed out and kill you.
Oh, Ahri's still up. Okay.
Zoe, I like way more for zone power. It's a classic. We've seen it so many times in the past into the Syndra.
It also means that playing a tank will be really hard. I feel like if they were to go with a very poke-based composition, the Trundle fits in really beautifully. They're going to hold off on that last pick to see what Kiin wants to play. And if it is something like an Ornn, you can really kind of cut him in half with that Subjugate. A delicate balance here.
The Fury feels like the best bet here for Gen.G unless they have just a completely off-the-wall pick.
That's a Gragas. And that will be locked in. Over to Kiin, playing the Fat Man on the top side.
I'm starting to wonder if there's like any other pick, like Zed jungle. That
Ignore the win percentage, by the way, on the Gragas. That 0% doesn't look great.
What's he got planned here? Canyon's always been the guy who just pulls something out of his hat in a series like this. He's played Karthus in so many matches against Dplus over the or against Gen.G when he was on Dplus over the years, but he opts for the Wukong, which is pretty weak early.
Wait a second. Is Lucid going to do this? CV Max and Kanavi are good friends, and I'm a bit frightened that this is real.
I think it's pretty strong, actually, in this draft, into the setup with the Kalista. But he goes to the Maokai, which is actually one of his old favorites. I heard Kronko was tuned in earlier. I don't know if he stuck around, but it's probably going to get him stressed out here. He's going to be already typing in the chat, "Don't build damage, Maokai, don't build AP." He probably won't in this draft, but this is a lot of really nice lockdown for the Wukong.
A lot of setup here on Dplus's side as well.
They can also just kind of poke at this relatively low-range composition, right? And then play through pick, win, Gen.G try to go through. They have the Maokai peel. Ahri can, weirdly enough, function as peel in this draft too, and they have the Milio. Of the three drafts, in terms of scholastic draft, what we expect and what we've seen in the LCK, this is my favorite Dplus draft of the three, and we were very low on games 1 and 2, so that was a pretty low bar. But I think in terms of comfort picks, man, Gen.G have everything they want, and the Kalista Renata feels like a lane that is going to be so strong to play through. Now, because they opted for the Wukong, though, that lane is going to be a little bit vulnerable in the early game. So Maokai impact could be even stronger down there, and so they need to be careful about over-pushing and over-forcing that lane. Man, what a banger game 3 I think we're about to jump into.
Yeah, I'm really keen to see what's going to happen here in this one, as Maokai for Lucid is not exactly a typical pick for him, but I think it fits the composition really nicely. And there are so many, like you were saying, really famous champions for these players on Gen.G. Let's get onto the Rift here for our third game of the series. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the Rift for game number 3. Already, this is a bit scary. In they go. Great charm. Connects onto Duro. He has to flash already. In fact, so many summoners already blown here by Gen.G, and count them on Dplus.
Yeah, I mean, if it was old Summoner's Rip before they changed the minion spawn timer and all that, you could be like, oh, okay, this is a pretty huge advantage they get, but they'll get back to lane pretty quickly. The lane is here. The minions are there. Duro with no sums is not in the lane, and this is already a volatile matchup, but when you don't have a support here at level 1, it is going to be miserable. And Dplus just show up, hit a charm, and yes, ShowMaker did have to start charm, so that's a little bit annoying in this matchup especially, so there's a little bit of a cost to this. But I think they're very happy with the end result.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that ShowMaker has demonstrated that he's very happy to make some sacrifices of his own gameplay experience in order to get this bottom lane ahead.
The whole thing to look at here is the experience bar of Smash versus the experience bar of Ruler. He is so much faster at reaching level 2, so it can dictate the pace of this bottom lane because Ruler had to back. He doesn't have the exhaust defensively here either, and when you're sitting under turret like this, the flash is relatively worthless. Only Duro's flash is relevant because flash handshake could turn the lane around, but without it, he's just going to be keeping his hands in his pockets, I think you could say.
Yep. Pretty dangerous situation here. Like you mentioned, not without a cost. You can see here in the mid lane, things going quite well as ShowMaker not going to get scattered. too badly. Does get hit by the ability, but not by an orb.
Imagine ShowMaker goes for that play bottom side with the E-lock and it gets flash, it doesn't work. This game state is completely different, right? Because ShowMaker starts E and they don't get that bottom side advantage. So it was at a huge risk that they went for this set play, but it absolutely works. And it makes me feel like, just like you and I did, they saw the Kalista Renata coming and they were like, we have a good plan for this.
Yeah. And having a look here, as far as the win rates are concerned, it's not fantastic for Dplus.
Good for Ahri.
Yeah, Siwoo on the 4 and 7. We have seen some of his Jayce performances have left a little to be desired. Outside of the deaths column, he definitely nails that. We'll see whether this is going to be a better one up against the Gragas, which is not necessarily like an ultra-winning lane or anything like that. The Gragas can certainly get set up for Canyon to start getting fed on this Wukong, potentially. Teleport back to ShowMaker. He's got a Dark Seal now.
One of the annoying things, too, Atlus, is that this is a Wukong that doesn't necessarily have a lot of gank power, and because his bottom side is already under so much control here from Dplus, it's hard to fix it. You know, Chovy would have to potentially roam, which is very difficult to do. And by the way, Maokai's here.
Yeah, Duro doesn't have flash. He doesn't have heal. He doesn't have a chance here in this bottom lane. And first blood goes over to the Maokai.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Chronicler at home, seeing that red sight on the Malphite.
First strike as well. I mean, first strike is almost always there because saplings just print money. And, I mean, you're just not going to say no to free money. Know what I mean?
I think it's time for Cry to accept that both Dplus is a good team after he's gone, and also that AP Maokai is pretty good. Duro gets caught here by the kick, and it's honestly, there were like 7 reasons why he was dead there. But
yeah,
the number one was that you mentioned, one that you mentioned, which was like, didn't have flash from the level 1 play, and so down he goes, and it's all coming up blue in these lanes here outside the mid lane where ShowMaker started E, but even he has stabilized here.
Yeah, actually pulling back a fair bit of control as both mid laners had teleported back. Chovy is still a wave in advantage. Will hit level 6 first as well, and somehow manages to find that scatter. That was very cute.
It is going to be tank Gragas, which I think should come as a shock to no one, just given the matchup he's playing into here. Let's do a tier first.
Yep. So we're expecting the Fimbulwinter.
Yes, which has been a Gragas classic.
It has. Might go, okay, Smash looking for an angle towards Ruler, but does get his hand shook. Very polite is Duro, as he says, no, sorry, I would prefer not the aggression.
Yeah, not sure how Duro got so low, but Smash is going to freeze this wave and just continue to annoy a flashless Kalista.
Yeah, Ruler is going to come back with Duro here.
Like, Lucid's on the bottom side of the map right now. Dragon, they need to be careful about overextending here. Have Canyon here, but like, you mess up a play here, you have a failed dive, you're going to get punished.
And he's only here to fix the wave as well, right? It's not like he's here to kill Smash or anything like that. That wave was pulled, and therefore this Lucian is entirely safe, allows Korea to go for a free reset, and everything is A-OK. Ruler does manage to even out the CS. That is definitely good news, and ShowMaker didn't miss out on experience here in this lane. As we can see, they both hit level 6 at the same time. Another good scatter here from Chovy, as he's come back to the lane as well. Lost chapter very close, but not quite there on that most recent back.
All right, Lucid looking for this dragon. ShowMaker the gank target, but again, it's a Wukong in the early game. Like, what are you going to do with that? As that's their potential cross map here to a dragon take with Scuttle. Lucid actually might just be able to get his ultimate here and then have it for a defense of this dragon take. It's such a strong position for Dplus in the early game. There's the level 6.
Yep. So does have that ultimate up and available. Dplus will be able to slink back into the fog of war here. But Duro and Ruler are just trying to hold the wave momentarily. They are going to give up on it.
You can see Chovy
came on over,
trying to roam out of that mid lane, but you should be very careful about doing so. He gets caught by a Maokai ultimate. He's going to get charmed. He's going to get burst down by this early game Lucian.
Yep. Cheeky Mountain to come on through for Drake #1. Next one is going to be a Chemtech. Could theoretically be an Ocean Soul, which would be not the greatest here for Dplus, but otherwise they are some pretty juicy ones.
Pretty decent for their side lane power, I guess.
True.
But like you said, that's the worst of a list of great ones.
All right. Dplus retaining some control. I feel like this is the most early game power Dplus have had as far as priority and lanes are concerned.
And sometimes in a Legend group, that's how games are won. Oh, you won the lane, you got map control. That's as simple as it gets, oftentimes. But Dplus turned the narrative of that a little bit in Game 1 and Game 2 in a massive way. And now in this third game, it's the first time they're playing from advantage. And you and I were talking about it, you know, what could this team look like if they had drafts that were considered a little bit more standard? We didn't see that in this third game, that's for sure, but with the Maokai coming through and the Jayce prio here. But what would it look like if they were ahead? Because from behind, they've looked real good today. And this will be the first time where they get to be the oppressors.
And you know what? They have fumbled leads before as well. So we're maybe not, you know, it was the counting chickens situation this time.
I mean, I'm not trying to say this game is done by any means, but it is at pre-8 minutes, a 1,200, 1,300 gold lead here for Dplus. And we've talked a lot about the underdog prowess of this team, but we haven't spent that much time overdogging.
Yeah, what's the overdog prowess like?
I think only Ox is the overdog master. His career's in trouble.
Yeah, he might actually have to flash to get out of this. Oh, great fire kick onto Canyon. As soon as the Nimbus Strike is down, the ability to close the gap is a little bit more difficult.
If Canyon Cyclone's there for a flash, they might just lose all sort of control over the top sides. Lucid's here in mid.
Yeah, flash twisted advance does come in, pushes Chovy back right into the charm. And now the ulti to follow up. Absolutely no way out here for this Syndra. And Lucid is 2 for 2 on the ganks so far this game.
Craziest thing is if Lucid doesn't ult there, I'm not even sure if he needed to. Might be able to make it play topside right afterwards. But he does do it just to secure, make sure Chovy has no out there. And Canyon spotted on a ward.
Yeah, it does go in with the Cyclone though, as now Smash might get hit with both of them. Uses the barrier, gets over the wall and takes down Canyon there with the culling. Teleport brings ShowMaker in as well, and I don't think they're going to be able to punish Smash too much, especially with that red buff that he just picked up.
Okay, this is starting to get to be too much here. Chovy had TP, but he didn't commit to try to match the of ShowMaker's because I don't think he was aware of it. As we'll watch this play again, Lucid, I think they expected him to go for a contest on the Grubs, but he just went straight to mid here and has an incredible Maokai early game. The ultimate here guarantees that Chovy can't walk it off or look for a second scatter there to buy additional space. Canyon flashes to die here on the chase onto Smash, who has his dash. So he just, right over the wall, Canyon flashes, but has nowhere near the damage.
Yeah, Career actually getting the ulti off to make sure that he stays alive. Bit unfortunate there for Canyon.
Smash gets to keep flash, and Canyon loses his, which is one of the best engage tools that is on this comp here for the side of Gen.G is the, you know, Trickster, Flash, Cyclone, extend that range to get on top of the carry, who still has Flash, by the way. Now you don't have yours, so it's just like a set of disadvantages for Gen.G. I mean, it's stacking up. It's a long list right now.
Now we have Smash on his lonesome, trying to defend this push from Ruler and Duro. Gen.G are not out of this one just yet. We know what Ruler and Duro are capable of with this combo, and they now have the Fate's Call, as well as that hostile takeover, in case anything is going to occur. But Smash is very strong, very, very close to his Essence Reaver. Both him and Ruler are actually getting closer and closer to their first items. Just need to get that Ether Wisp and to complete it for Ruler to put together his Static Shiv. That's all right, Canyon moving towards his top side. Doesn't have flash like you were talking about. 2 seconds until the Cyclone. Might be able to pay Siwoo a visit, and does decide to go in. There is the cast. Siwoo is going to try and boop them back. Goes for the flash, but the Cyclone is going to be able to take him down. And Canyon just had to make sure that he waited out the ultimate and then transfers that into a kill.
Yeah, Siwoo doesn't have teleport, so this is a huge win for Gen.G, as they also have Ruler lane swapping top here. Kiin has TP to catch the wave bottom lane, so they're winning on both sides of the map here, frankly. As you can see, that TP being used by the Gragas right now after he picks up Merc Treads to head down and defend. Should be able to catch all of this wave since there's a cannon wave. Smash is still going to try to pressure and get plate gold. ShowMaker's here, though. They want to punish this play. It's going to force a reaction from Chovy, but he might be too late.
Yeah, there's the charm connecting immediately onto Chovy as the culling comes down, and now the resets start to come in. Both of them just die immediately after the teleports.
And it's like everything that Gen.G does in this series, it seems like feels safe enough. Surely they won't push the envelope. Surely they won't try to look for the outplay. We're totally set. We've got a TP on our Syndra. If they try to dive, Chovy's there for the support, but it just isn't going to happen. Now, Siwoo steps a bit too far up here and then tries to get cute with the hammer there and then trying to flash back to turret, but Canyon was able to suss it out. And here, Chovy knows he has TP, so he's like, all right, well, surely they won't go for this. But look at this angle. Turn hits onto Chovy. I think that might not have even necessarily been intentional, but if it was, it's incredible. Either way, they stopped the Syndra from doing anything.
I mean, they just can't play the game. Like, Chovy arrived and then couldn't do anything. 3 Cloud Souls in a row! Oh my god, it's the best day of League of Legends all year.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's so windy. Oh, glorious.
I tried to make wind sounds, but I think the microphone didn't like that. It's like we try to prevent that.
Yeah, the microphone is actually built around not having those. Korea's going to flash out of the way of Duro. He does get the handshake back. Hostile takeover is flashed by Smash, but Korea is just dead. Ruler is now on the board as Kiin fighting against Smash here. Lucid comes on over Bramble Smash to try and get rid of the Gragas. And I don't know whether he's going to have another one. Kiin is taken down so incredibly low, though. Still going to survive. They take down Smash as well. The bottom lane has now been removed as Ruler bounces out of the fight. She's trying to get some damage down in this mid lane.
It might get 2 turrets for this play. So yes, 2 die, and it is a big win for Gen.G on the top side here, but quite a heavy cost here. ShowMaker will pick up the first turret for Dplus here, and it looks like Chovy will barely be able to defend the mid turret, so it's not 2 in exchange, but still Dplus holding a massive lead. This is a little bit disrespectful here, I think, for Career and Smash. The Fate's Call comes through, forces the flash, but then shortly afterwards, Duro flash handshakes as the hostile takeover. Smash plays as well, flashes early, but now doesn't have any defensive options here for the cask that comes through from Kiin. And then even still, Lucid helps come over here and peel, and it looks like maybe Smash might be able to get away, but there's enough follow-up here with this Kalista coming over. They barely take him out. And then Cyclone here employed, forces Lucid to flash. But all the while, that Jayce was pushing mid, which is why this gold lead hasn't really changed all too much for Gen.G, despite the double there on the top side.
Yeah, you can see Ruler does have his static shift now completed. Some glutinous Greaves put forward as well. And they're not in the right slot. It's a little bit confusing to me, seeing an AD carry with shoes actually in the inventory. That is
because he hasn't finished that role quest, Atlus.
Yeah, he hasn't finished it yet, but oftentimes Boots 2 comes in and like they just immediately go over there. I haven't seen a Gluttonous Greaves in an inventory like almost at all.
Just goes to show the state of that bottom lane after what was a great level 1. Think about it 14 minutes ago.
All right, Smash now just going to try and push them out. My goodness, okay. Smash is angry after Gen.G did manage to take down him and Korea earlier on that top side of the map.
Canyon has flash, but no Cyclone yet. Lucid playing around that cooldown really well here, just coming over and taking the Raptors away, printing money across multiple players there as Leandri's damage really starting to hurt here.
And that's like the extent of his damage, most likely. He goes tank from here, so it's just going to be very difficult to play into this Maokai as he gets tankier and tankier as this game goes on.
But when you have map control every time a sapling spots somebody, that's great. But every time a sapling hits somebody, it's even better.
Did you know that it's very important to take crabs for a walk?
Yeah, it's,
if you ever do have a pet crab, make sure that you take them for walks.
At least once per spawn.
Yeah.
In a game of League of Legends, they should be on a walk, usually at least to the blue or red buff.
Yeah.
Which side of the rift you're on.
Yeah, so Chovy is doing his due diligence there to make sure that the crabs are exercised as much as possible. And they're going to be ardently blazed momentarily here by Smash.
Yeah. And lost his Celestial opposition.
Oh no. Wait, now he's unopposed.
Yeah, could be dangerous for a few seconds.
I think so.
All right, well, let's take stock of the game state here. Gen.G down 2 dragons. 80 seconds till the next one spawns. This early game Kalista was put down by some really cool trickery in the early game, but still has the only gold lead here for Gen.G. And it's still a powerful force to play around if they do want to commit to this dragon fight, deny soul point. They've got Flash Cyclone, they've got Chovy with quite a few splinters in tow. Isn't quite at his full power just yet, but has Flash, Scatter, tons of burst damage. So they just need to be able to lock down a single target at the beginning of this fight and kill it, and then the Kalista can run away with the rest of the fight. The problem is the Maokai just ruins the whole equation of how Gen.G want to set up on this. Even though they have tons of vision control right now, I think Dplus definitely could consider a big contest.
And 2 items are now completed here for Lucid on this Maokai as well. Goes for the pretty cheap option in the Protoplasm Harness. That just means that this Maokai is at full power moving towards this Cloud Dragon fight, which would be Soul Point over to Dplus. And they've been pretty good at fighting around dragons so far this series. Level 11 for Canyon is a big deal as far as Cyclone value is concerned, but It's level 12 already here for Lucid.
This.
He has a full level advantage.
I mean, Gen.G have tons of pride, tons of vision control on Dragon, and Dplus are like, well, we'll just push mid-turret instead and just kind of ignore that. Now they've got bottom push, so ShowMaker has a flank angle, and just the snap of your fingers, as it spawns, the prio belongs to Dplus. Lucid exactly where he wants to be here on this Maokai, as here comes that TP from Gragas. And that's enough to get them away for now. They're just going to push mid-turret instead. This 2-Drake lead here is being played through incredibly well here by Dplus, trying to threaten that top turret. And Siwoo still has that TP, so can join if they want to fight. Looks like they're just going to take the turret, let the Dragon go.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade as Kiin tries to body slam forward. Lucid looks to try and see whether he can keep himself alive. Tries to get out, but it's not going to work. That is the sticks pulled out by Ruler and a dead tree on the side of Dplus. ShowMaker just down here on this bottom side, trying to get pressure. Siwoo doing the same thing, top side of the map, but they're not at the turrets. And yes, they'll get rid of some waves, but it's still not exactly the greatest.
Remember the fumble that Dplus had in Game 2 where I was like, oh, they have so much control, and they had the soul point, and then they still fought for some reason instead of using their map. This time they just used the map. This time they let the Dragon go. Sure, Lucid dies as well because he has to posture like this to make sure that that Gen.G can't defend those sides, but ShowMaker gets tons of time. They get the top turret for the Jayce. I think this is a win for both teams, but for Dplus, I think given the game state and the power of this Kalista in the mid game and the comp with the Cyclone at the ready there, it was definitely the right call to say, you can have that, we'll get something else. For Gen.G, they absolutely needed to group and take that. So both teams, mission accomplished, so to say, and we're at a basically even game state. This is where we were right before because of it.
Yeah, it's not exactly leaning one direction or the other. Still that 2,000 gold advantage over to Dplus. Those couple of extra dragons at their disposal.
Such a powerful game state here for Lucid, who gets his harness, which is really cheap, even though it's been nerfed heavily because of that. But because he has such a lead, he can afford both Liandry, so he's kind of doing a little bit of damage, and also a little bit tankier, a little bit difficult to kill. We'll see what happens in the next fight where he actually employs his ultimate, looks to actually try to turn the tide, because they have so much control now over the top side of this map, and they're just continuing to push ShowMaker into sides. And with all this shadow of the rest of the team, Dplus are just forcing this awkward game state where, like, Ruler doesn't want to interact with Lucian. And on the other side, Canyon doesn't really have a cross map to play. The Jayce has kept the wave where he wants. It's just the macro here for Dplus right now gives him such an advantage as here comes Smash.
Yeah, there's the culling onto Ruler and Duro. Duro is going to tank up part of it, but that Celestial opposition pops, and then the double tap does so much to get rid of him. Great charm connects here from ShowMaker on this top side. His Orbit Deception does go wide, but that is a one trade for the Ahri.
I mean, it just made Canyon look like he was AFK because he's trying to help out the Gragas push bottom lane, but Jayce plays so defensively, and the fact that Lucid's standing around here allows Smash to, like, push forward and take out Ruler's health bar and get more damage done onto the turret. Punish potentially.
Okay, Kiin not going to be able to find a cask or anything like that. Could theoretically have tried to flash to get into position, but things were dark on that side of the rift. And Baron did just spawn. Oh dear. Yeah, Duro does have flash available, so Twisted Advance is a little scary.
I like using the Herald here to kind of advance forward. It makes it very safe for Lucid to walk forward. He doesn't have flash. And they're just going to try to charge into this inner now. ShowMaker shows up, denies a Blast Cone entry, and comes in.
Yeah, Charm connects onto Duro, that newly completed Liandry's. Now giving him 2 items, but not exactly massive damage onto Duro here. Still they get the charge onto the inner turret. That gold lead is increasing.
Look at how many people have to group to defend Dplus's push. And then, where's Siwoo? Oh, now he's not letting the wave crash through. Now he's actually pushing that bottom wave to get full vision on the bottom side of the map, to force the Gragas to show then onto vision. And now Dplus can rinse and repeat. They have vision control around Baron right now. They know, obviously, that Gen.G aren't there, but the Gen.G don't know how much vision, they don't have vision of Baron at all, or that river, so it's a little scary when you're at this game state. 90 seconds till the Dragon spawns here, and that's, I think, going to be a big turning point in this game. I don't think either team can threaten Baron or anything like that at this point. It's really going to be about that Dragon, but so far the push and pull here for Dplus on the map has been great, and Gen.G have been doing their best to try to regain control of mid and sides, but they have not been successful.
Not just yet. Smash pretty close to 3 items, but so is Ruler. And both of them will be completing some armor penetration coming up here very, very shortly. And I think Ruler is quite dangerous. Does hit that 2-item spike that we talk about with the Kalista. Rage Blade being completed. And Terminus should be done relatively soon. Same as that mortal reminder here for Smash that is going to be coming in shortly.
The scariest person on the Rift for me right now is Lucid. He has so many ways he can either start a fight for Dplus or defend against an attempt from Canyon and Ruler to try to actually win one or get a pick. And with the control that ShowMaker has right now, he can threaten this. They instantly ping him on that Ahri flank, and that pushes the mid laners back, Duro and Ruler away. And that map control remains Dplus's, as it looked like maybe Canyon wanted to, again, try to look for a collapse onto Siwoo, but he also gets vision and then backs away.
I really like this Shirelia's purchase from Korea.
Yeah.
Because there's so many knockups, right? It's all knockups and knockaways and all sorts of stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And so getting the movement speed to avoid being cast, I think, is actually kind of huge. Here for the Milio, instead of going for the Mikhails, which you would otherwise put together, Kiin grabs an Imperial Mandate. It's going to mean that all of those abilities should be coming up a whole lot sooner, based on the fact that most of them have CC. Body slamming all over the Rift, perhaps. As Shock Blast now from Siwoo. This pincer maneuver, let's see whether it works as Lucid throws down the ulti. No soul available for DK, but can they win the fight? That's the question. Exhaust onto Siwoo in that backside as ShowMaker gets over the wall, bounces back again. Siwoo going to be taken down as Ruler, looking for the angle. Will the bailout work? No, it will not. The scatter a little later now. Smash at full health, looking to clean up the battlefield. Canyon slinking away, and ShowMaker, he's got one more charge. Can he catch up to this monkey? I don't think so. He might be able to. Is he going to be able to get the execution? That is the question. As there he goes. Smash able to pick up the kill.
Bought some time, at least. Well played there by Canyon, but all it really gets him is an extra plate for his mid laner, as this turret is still pretty healthy this late into the game. The way this fight is played is so difficult for Gen.G because they're dealing with two fronts. They're dealing with this push through from Lucid, which is impossible to punish. You see the great charm onto Kiin. He tanks up so much damage, but he can't actually get any agency here, any power for Ruler. Ruler's like, I'm trying to find a good target to kill. Finally, they get that Jayce, but that's it. By the time he goes down, Ruler's bailout is not going to work. Chovy's positioned well, but that means he can't actually set up the bailout there.
Wait.
He's the last one to die. Baron.
All right.
Baron on the guards. Lucid's ult's back up.
Yeah, so Lucid might be able to actually play some keep away with this ulti. Throws it down. There's the cast in from Kiin trying to make the big play. Siwoo gets a huge heal, but it's not enough to keep him alive. That's going to be Lucid locking down the Baron, and now the Twisted advance. The Culling's there as well, and down goes Ruler. Dplus, look at these resets for ShowMaker as he bounces around the battlefield, and I think they've done it again. It looks like Dplus is going to take down Gen.G.
Dplus looking to clean this one up. Chovy tucking tail and running, but he cannot escape from ShowMaker. The charm goes through, and that's the ace, Atlus.
It's beautifully done here by Dplus. Chovy's going to take a little while to go down. His career is just going to try.
That's the ace, Atlus.
That's the ardently blazed to death. There we go. Beautifully done.
And they got the Jayce, which is what they've been trying to do all game long, it feels like. But that's all they're going to get. It's just, oh, I mean, look, they have no jungle here, right? So while this is happening, they need to win a fight. But they're also playing a 4v5 game here effectively. And as the Jayce goes down, look at this. Kiin tries to get in there. He goes super low. And Ruler is just focused down. Lucid is so tanky. And they just can't get a bailout. Canyon's not here. Chovy doesn't do enough damage.
And Duro was just nowhere near. So even though the bailout was sort of available, just wasn't enough that this Renata could actually do. And ShowMaker, he had like 4 essence at some point in that fight.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane, the value this Ahri managed to get.
I mean, Chovy plays this incredibly well. I mean, it's a tragedy for Gen.G. It looks like this game is truly done, but you gotta recognize real when you see it. Also, really cool time buy from him, as after Canyon bought a lot of time in the previous play, but buying time repeatedly isn't going to get you back into the game, I'm afraid, as they're going to need to win a team fight somehow. 7,000 gold down, now defending this Baron for another minute 15.
Look at the Rebel Baron power play.
It's
4.3k right now. There's still a minute left. And Charm does go wide here from ShowMaker, but he's got his forbidden book. There's another culling, just to zone away. Oh my God! Duro just having to flash his smash now with that cozy campfire. Is just pushing forward. Canyon still lurking.
Ruler now flashless. If he died there, the game just ends. It might still just the same if they can find another angle here onto Kiin, who desperately wants to defend this turret, but he's just not going to be able to. He has to let it go. This power play just gets bigger and bigger.
5.5 thousand gold. And yeah, there's 30 seconds. One more in a turret, but it doesn't exactly have a wave right now, nor anyone there. So I think this is going to be the end of the push. But 1 minute, and then it's going to be Cloud Soul. And then Dplus can race even faster to the enemy base. And Smash has an IE.
They have so many tools. The fact that Ruler doesn't have Flash is, how is he going to play this fight? They don't have a Void Staff yet for Chovy. He doesn't do enough damage to get that bailout. They need that damage so badly. Gragas is trying to, set up these fights and try to look for targets, but Smash has positioned himself so well. He's not doing a lot of damage in the beginning of the fight, but he cleans up so hard every single time. Not to mention, ShowMaker starts getting resets. He does a ton of damage now in this game. As Ruler with only... he has exhaust. Like, that's all he's got. He doesn't have a cleanse. If he gets charmed, it's 100% doomsday.
And he's also, like, 100% of his team's kills, right? Like, DK, they know exactly what they need to do. They just kill Ruler, and then they're likely just going to win the fight immediately afterwards. It's what they've been doing all game long, and it's only gotten easier with the Infinity Edge. I did tell a lie. I thought that it was Soul available for Dplus. That was last game. This game, they do not have that third dragon just yet.
And it looks like they might not even need it. They're not even interested in it. They're just continuing to keep Gen.G in their base and not give them any angles. Let Kiin get onto the map here. Is tracking where the Wukong is as best as they can. They've got a sapling to see his wraparound here. He's going top side right now, and they know it, and they're just going to go straight to the dragon. As, yeah, I don't know. Kiin is...
He's left.
He's gone, man. This has not been his best series, but he has been playing against one of the best players in our league, in Lucid, who I think...
And he's having probably one of his best days all year.
I mean, how much can we say about where Lucid has gone from inconsistency to making our friend Chronicler cry when he picked Maokai to hard carrying this game after having the performance he did on the Lee Sin in Game 2?
Do you know what the best thing is? We actually have the leader of the Lucid fan club right here.
Yeah,
he's in the space.
We're going to hear from him right after this.
Yeah, Ox is going to be able to tell us. You know, he's been leading that fan club the entire time, ever since Lucid first debuted. No one else was there supporting him. It was all Dan the whole time.
Bronny can just enjoy his Croco fan club in the OPL.
Yeah, he can. That was sort of the battle, wasn't it? And Dan, I think, won in the end by a considerable margin by choosing Lucid.
This for Gen.G, look at where they are on the minimap. They're just cowering, waiting for a mistake from Dplus, because that's all they could do.
Yeah, it's their only option right now.
Look at the push from the Jayce in the bottom lane. No one's answering that right now. Someone eventually will have to. As they group to try to punish Lucid, who's so incredibly tough to kill, has Sonya's completed. They just walk away and throw saplings, and Gen.G are like, please make a mistake. I don't know what to do. As, the Siwoo push continues. Now Kiin's going to have to go deal with that. He does have TP. But Dplus are basically just playing when you watch a streamer in between games, like Alt-Tab and play a game, like that's basically what Dplus are doing until Baron's up.
This is Faker playing Polybridge. Absolutely. Korea does complete his Ardent Sensor. There is a very cool hat here for ShowMaker. Takes it on his wizarding ways towards the top side of the map. 4-0-7 on this Ahri this game. And I think Lucid's going to get POM, but ShowMaker has had a phenomenal performance, especially this game, sort of giving up his early laning phase.
Isn't it a tragedy that also Smash Point will get consideration after his perfect Victor game into this Lucian performance? Career also?
I mean, it's just not very fair, but Lucid's going to get it because that Lee Sin game was absolutely
And that's what he deserves it.
100%. But all right. We're maybe getting ahead of ourselves, but we're also maybe not. It's an 8.8k gold lead. And feeling like a matter of time here as Ruler takes a few shots from Smash and almost just has to go back home. Canyon spot out. And this is the problem. We haven't seen very many Maokai games, but if a Maokai gets ahead, how do you set up any sort of trap? He just throws a little mini tree and you just get grooted, and then you just can't do anything.
I wish we could show the vision toggle for Gen.G and then show Dplus's. Look at the map. Look at all the blue. Look at all the dots, the wards, the saplings, the control wards, everything. There's that one blue buff residual. That's not what I'm talking about. But all the other blue dots, the minions also pushing down all three lanes. Gen.G can't see anything. It's not fair. Another sapling. It's just leapfrogging it forward like siege tanks.
Oh, that was the real Wukong there that did get caught out, as ShowMaker did have to use the ultimate.
That's a real Ahri ult too.
It is on a very low cooldown, but still. Now Gen.G going to be able to move through the top lane to try and get towards his Baron. That's what they're trying to get to.
Doesn't really have a flank to teleport to, but if he could find one, He's just going to teleport straight into the middle of the fight. If he was flanking, this would feel a lot stronger here for Gen.G.
Speaking of a flank, yeah, Sywoo just going to throw that huge shock blast.
And then the poke from the saplings is coming through.
This is the problem, though. If you're in the pit, like, what do you do against the Nature's Grasp? Lucid can just throw this down at any moment. Look at this Baron. Huni is doing so much work. As Canyon's almost dead, the culling is going to fly in, and Kiin misses the body slam. The charm comes through, and he's just brambled to death. Hostile takeover onto only Lucid. Twisted Advance comes through. It is a wash. Dplus are gonna smash them in the fight. Ruler at least takes one, as Lucid will go down. But that is Smash picking up almost all the kills, and Sywoo is just gonna win the game.
Sywoo's just gonna do what he's been doing all game long, which is creeping closer and closer to taking out Gen.G's Nexus from the side lane. He TP's over, sets up the wave. Who needs the Baron? Who needs a smite? Dplus with nothing to play for in this series. Take out Gen.G, and now Gen.G's chances of taking that dominant win in playoffs somewhat in question. They were able to get the one win to keep their first place, but they will not win the series. As immediately Sywoo and crew get pointed out by, I think he pointed at Sywoo there, CV Max giving the big thumbs up.